Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel here. So today we are going back to a little bit of physical content and using that test bench behind me there to actually benchmark this little guy, which is a 750 Ti. This unit specifically is a pallet unit. It has 2 gigs of VRAM and it is a 128-bit bus width card. This is the Storm X Dual. It's quite a nice looking little thing. It does not need any extra power, which is really nice for media PC builds or entry-level gaming builds where you don't need a big power supply. So yeah, that's what we're going to be looking at today. Come on, focus. There we go. So yeah, so we're going to be taking a look at this, benchmarking it, seeing how it runs. This is going to be an open air test bench, so there's no chassis in this one. So I'm just going to do, FPS numbers. But apart from that, it's just a little test benchmark, just to see if this card still has some value in 2024 and whether you should consider it. This one cost me about $20, so it was not expensive. The only thing I don't like about this is it has a mini HDMI. I don't know, that never caught on really, so I don't know why companies tried that. But apart from that, Palette is a pretty good company. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to test this out. So let's see if this still has a place in the market in 2024. Let's bench it. Stay with me. Okay, so this is my little test bench here, and this is basically just a 4th gen i5. I think it's the i5 4570, and then you have just 8 gigs of RAM in this little system here. It's just a basic little setup. Then you have the GTX 750 Ti that we are speaking about. You have a little SSD over here, normal 600 watt power supply, just a stock one, just a basic one, and then you just have a 2 terabyte hard drive for games. So yeah, just a quick little introduction to the way I'm going to be testing. I don't have a case set up for this because this is just a quick little video. So yeah, this is the test bench. So let's get to benchmarking. Okay, getting into the Shadow of the Tomb Raider benchmark here, and right off the bat we are around 40 FPS. Now for this benchmarking run, I don't have the Afterburner suite installed, so I'm just doing the built-in benchmarks, just checking the FPS for this one. Not going to be checking temperatures or anything because it's not going to be a fair test anyway because it's an open air benchmark. So I'm just really just checking temperatures because this CPU is more than strong enough to handle this GPU, so I know there won't be any benchmarks, any bottlenecks that way. So yeah, just really checking the FPS for these tests and just seeing how this card does in modern games. So this is Shadow of the Tomb Raider running at HD, but running at low. So not the lowest, but just low. And it still looks pretty good. It still looks, passable. It doesn't look half bad. And this is getting right around the 30 to 50 FPS range. So I think with a card like this, it's probably better to game at 720p if you do want to game. So what I would probably do is if I want to play games like this, I would probably play it at 720p medium settings instead of playing at HD low settings. That's probably just what I would do because I think that would yield the best result. Right now we are around 60, but this is the easiest scene to run in the bench. Well, the beginning of it gets more difficult as it goes on. But yeah, it's a possible experience if you don't have any other options because it is such a cheap card now. You can get this card for like $20. But I wouldn't recommend it for games like these because it is going to feel a little bit choppy and a little bit laggy, but at least it hasn't gone below 30 FPS. Now if you play like racing games or esports games or MOBAs, stuff like that, I think this card will be okay because you can put the graphics down low and probably still get quite a high refresh rate experience. at least around 60. So I do think this card has its uses, but I don't think a game like this is in that list. So yeah, not a terrible result, but not exactly what I would call playable either. It's just sort of just passable, I would say. So with that said, let's move on to the next one. Okay, getting into the Hitman test. This is running at DirectX 11. I know the frame rate is a little bit small up there, so I'll just update you incrementally. This is also running at low, not the lowest, but low. And it's also running at HD, but this one is doing a lot better. It hasn't dropped below 50 yet, and it's around an average of 57. I mean, it has dropped below 50, the minimum is 8, but I just mean the average hasn't dropped below 50. So this is actually surprisingly playable, and I think you will have outliers like this, where some games will perform quite good on the architecture that this card provides. The FPS is right around 60, and again, it still looks pretty good. For what you would expect from a card like this at HD, I think this is actually quite a good result, and and it's definitely playable. I mean, 57 average, that is what I'd call quite a decent experience, not just playable but quite smooth even. So yeah, I think it's a quite a good result. And it looks good as well. I think it definitely doesn't look bad. It doesn't sacrifice too much to achieve a higher frame rate. But I think with this game, the CPU helps a lot because we do have a decent CPU in here. So yeah, quite surprisingly a decent result. Still right around 58 average. And I think it's going to finish at around 58. So yeah, good result. With that said, let's move on to the next one. Okay, getting into the benchmark for Far Cry 4, Far Cry 5 New Dawn? Just Far Cry New Dawn, I guess. It doesn't have to be one specifically. Far Cry 5.5 basically. This is running at 1080p low, and it is averaging around 40 right now. So not too bad right off the bat. Not great, but this is quite a difficult game to run on an older graphics card. It looks good. The bench itself looks quite good. Lots of LODs going on. Always have a little bit of a dip there. But 40 average is quite playable. It's not too bad. And again, you can always lower the resolution to 720p if you want to play at a bit higher frame rate. Probably get around 60 then. So yeah, it's looking quite good. The lighting and everything still looks very nice, and running stuff at low graphics gives it like this nice edgy feeling to it. So yeah, quite a decent result. Around 39 average, minimum of 8 and a maximum of 48. So yeah, like I said, not a bad result. You could get better results if you lower the resolution, but apart from that, definitely quite playable. So let's move on to the last one. Okay, playing some Doom Eternal now, and this is always a test that I'm quite happy to do. It's it's a fun test for me because I get to play a little bit of Doom. But apart from that, I wish more games would be performant enough to run on older systems like this, because this game looks really good, and it's pretty hard to find a system that it doesn't run well on, and that's just a testament to the performance development that was done on this game, the optimization. So it's always really good to see that, and you wish that more games did it, is what I'm trying to get at. So this is running at low settings, and it's running at HD. But again, it looks really good. I mean, you can see the detail is still pretty good. It's a little bit blurry on some of the textures, but the detail is still good. The lighting is still really good. The color space is really good. you're not missing too much, and that's really a testament to how well they did when making this. And right now it's running at between 50 and 60 FPS, so that's quite good. Look, you're not going to get a high refresh rate experience out of a 750 Ti in 2024. That's just not going to happen. But you can still get a playable experience. Now, I do think when you go outside, it might drop into the 40s. But on the inside here, it really isn't doing that bad. It's fun, you know. This scene also might drop a little bit because of how much is going on, but that's also on the CPU because there's so much AI to handle here. It can be a little bit difficult. So yeah, but I do think it's actually running quite well. It dropped for like a couple seconds, but then it definitely got back up to the 60s pretty easily. So that's good. And it's around 40 to 60 for the most part. Seems like difficult to say exactly because it's jumping a lot. And the frame time is at around 18 to 20 milliseconds, so that's not too bad. Yeah, overall, I mean, you can see me playing. This is much more than playable. It's actually, it feels good. And you know, if I didn't have another option, I would play like this because it's, look, it's not a high refresh rate experience, but it's playable. This is a fast-paced game, so you can't lag too much. You need to be able to shoot and move around quickly without having to worry about performance too much, but I do feel like this gets that right, and this card is good enough to play Doom on, is basically what I'm getting at. So look, it's not perfect, but it's definitely fun. And you know, realistically, you're either going to buy this card because you don't have a lot of cash, or you're going to buy it as a gift to maybe a young sibling or your child or your nephew or something like that. So in any of those use cases, this card does have a place on the market, even in 2024. So this is what I was curious about, and it's actually not too bad. It does drop to like 35 at times, but it's gotten back up to 45 and 60 now, so you know, that's not bad. Again, it's playable. It's not perfect, but when you pay $20 or $30 for a graphics card, you can't really complain too much. That's just the nature of the business right now. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it actually performs quite well, and yeah, it's a usable card is what I'm getting at. It still has a place on the market. So with that said, good job 750 Ti. Let's do the outro. Okay, so that's it for the testing for the 750 Ti here, and as you can see, it actually did pretty well. It surprised me in how useful it still is as an entry-level option in 2024. It ran each game that I threw at it. It might not have been a high refresh rate experience, but it was playable. Tomb Raider struggled a little bit, but you know, this was at HD as well. We could always drop down to 720p, and you know, if you're going to be using a card like this, you're probably going to be using a little bit of a smaller screen and using a 720p screen to play this on. So yeah, I'm happy with the result. It is better than what I expected, and I think you can't complain too much for what this will cost you. I don't actually know what these cost, but I got this one for around $20. So I don't think you can still buy them at any retailers at this point, so you know, you're going to be buying them secondhand, and I think secondhand for $20 seems okay to me. So yeah, with that said, I think, like I said in the Doom benchmark just now, this still has a place on the market for extreme entry-level gaming, but the point is that sometimes people don't have money. They don't have money for hobbies or for games, and in that case, you know, yeah, you really don't need a lot of money to buy this. A whole system like this with a decent case is going to cost you like $200. So there are options out there, you just have to find them, and it is possible. So with that said, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know what kind of content you like. I've been doing a lot of more theoretical content where I just like look at stores and stuff, but I do enjoy doing this physical content too, so I'm trying to find a balance. So let me know if you like this kind of stuff, or if you like more looking at retailers and looking at shops and stuff. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.